to video number 2. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had a big month in your business that seemed to be a fluke? Like you made a whole boatload of money and you notice yourself really kind of shrinking back, like something was wrong with you because you made that money, and no matter what you did or you didn't do, you could not do the same exact thing the next month? Have you ever felt frustrated, pissed off, doubtful, hate, like you know how we hate on people, like what do they say now, throwing shade? Have you ever felt any of that when you see someone post on social media about their big success, whatever their big month was, and you feel some kind of way because you know that you should be there too, right? Have you struggled with the comparison game? Can I just keep it real with you again, right? Like I remember when I myself found myself constantly comparing my today to their 20 years in, or whatever the case might be, and doing it because I really wasn't happy with myself, because I was just frustrated because I knew what was possible, but for some reason it just wasn't clicking, right? You know that you have blocks, but you don't even know what those blocks are, right? Let alone how to release them, even though you've done a lot of mindset stuff, right? You've done the affirmations and you've visualized and you've done everything that anybody has ever told you to do, but somehow it's not clicking for you. Am I talking to you? Am I saying it right? If you can relate to anything that I've just said to you, then my guess is that you've already tried to increase your income, right? You've already tried to maybe charge more. And even though you raised your rates, you're probably still second guessing whether or not you can actually command them, like people would actually pay them. You've probably hired people who said that they were the bee's knees and your results have not improved, right? Maybe you've even decided that all you need to do is hustle harder. You went and you got yourself one of those t-shirts that says, wake, pray, hustle, right? Maybe that's what you decided to do. Now, if you are nodding your head yes, as you are hearing me kind of make a little bit of fun of you, although it is clearly not funny, because I want you to know that I feel you, right? I've been there, I've done that, and I've got the t-shirt. Here's what I know. You're really still waiting to have the big vision that's on the inside of your heart show up and blow your mind to the tune of you meeting all of the personal goals that really matter to you, right? You're probably still actually waiting to feel like you're a rock star, like you are the best who ever did it. You're probably still waiting to see yourself the way everybody else sees you. Have you heard that? Has someone told you, I can't wait for you to see yourself the way that I see you? I know I say that to my clients all the time when they're shrinking back, when they are not allowing their gifts and talents and splendor to shake the planet. I say to them all the time, right? Or maybe you're still waiting for the right moment to come out of your shell and express yourself more powerfully, so that you really make the impact that you were supposed to make on this planet, right? Well, let's talk about the real reason why you're not getting the results that you want. Is that okay if we do that? It's because you're not standing fully in your power. In fact, it's because you're afraid of your power. If you're anything like me and many of my clients, you've probably been told or gotten the message more than you want to count that you're too much, or you're on 10, or you need to bring it down a notch, or nobody wants to hear all of that. And you've heard that message so many times that it has literally rocked your world and it has sent you into a little safe place shell. And that shell is not serving you, and more importantly, it is not serving the world. That's why you haven't accomplished everything that you want in your life and your business up until this point. It's literally because you're still holding back. You think that if you continue to tone it down, you won't be rejected, you won't be abandoned, that people won't think ill of you. But here's the thing. You were created to shake the planet. And planet shakers, they disrupt. They rustle feathers. I can't even get my words out right. They do things that change the way that the world shows up. That's what happens when you really step into your power. And I know you do it because experience has taught you that whenever whenever the real you shows up, people respond negatively, right? They see your strength as something that is actually weakness, or they try to belittle you. They try to make you feel as if who you really are in that moment is not the best version of yourself. And it doesn't feel good, right? But here's the thing. Who you are, the incredible, amazing person that you are, your soul and your spirit is really, it's desiring freedom, joy, and abundance at the highest of levels. Right now, you're experiencing an internal conflict, and that conflict is between being the true you and being who you know you were created to be and being accepted by others. And that is what is creating the biggest breakdown in your life. It's mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually taking you out. It is literally turning your life into just a mound of not as much power as it's supposed to be, if that makes any sense. I think the real reason why entrepreneurs burn out before they achieve their goals is because they're so concerned about what other people think about them. The longer that you struggle with this conflict, the longer you'll feel empty, and the longer you'll feel trapped, you'll feel stuck. You'll continue to operate in frustration, and you won't make the impact that you were born to make. That's the truth, right? You're at the point in time where I call where the ability for you to decide whether you're going to go big or go home. Like, that's where you are. You're literally at the crossroad. You're standing at the crossroad, and you now need to make a decision. You need to make a big girl or a big boy decision. You need to decide that you're ready to do whatever it takes in order to truly shift your life so that you can shift the lives of those that you've been called to. And here's the thing. The truth is that despite any success that you've experienced up until this point, you really haven't been playing to win. You've been playing to not lose love, to not lose admiration, to not lose approval. You have been so concerned about what other people think about you that it's costing you what you really want. This is why your deepest needs and wants are not being met in your personal life and in your business, and why it's being mirrored back to you, right? Because you know that life and business are completely congruent, right? I always say you cannot have a booming business when you have a busted life. Like, they are completely congruent. And what's happening in your personal life is seeping over into your business. And that's why you're not getting the success that you want. If you want things to change, then you're going to have to go into battle. If I can keep it real with you, you're going to have to completely terminate. Think about the Terminator, right? You're going to have to get your big gun out, and you're going to have to literally terminate, destroy to no recognizable form all of the subtle ways that you've been playing small in your life and in your business. And it's all of those little ways that you're still trying to rationalize. You're still trying to make it okay that you think what you think or feel what you feel or act the way that you act, which is keeping you stuck, right? And it's time to just kind of call a spade a spade. It's time for you to get out of your own way. You know those times when you don't ask for the sale, when you're having a conversation with a person, you know you can help them, but you are either making the assumption that they can't afford you, or why would they want to hire you? You're doing all of that shrinking thinking, and it's keeping you from asking for the sale or collecting the deposit or even calling the client who owes you money, who hasn't paid their account but still wants to get access to your program. Like, you're doing all of that, or not doing all of that, I guess I should say, because you're afraid that they're going to tell you no. That you're afraid that your life is going to end because you hear no. And let me just tell you, that is not the case, right? And when you don't charge what you should be charging, when you don't charge what you should be charging because you're afraid that making too much money will make your husband insecure or your boyfriend not want to marry you or whatever. Listen, I know what it's like to feel like rising up and being the biggest and best version of yourself is going to make men feel insecure around you. I bought into all of that hype. Like, there were years when I would go places and I would speak on stages with primarily men, and they would all be like, "Are you married?" And I'd be like, "No." And they were like, "Oh yeah, I know why." And I, of course, would be like, "Well, why?" Because I wanted to be married. And they would say, "Well, you intimidate men. Like, men are not, there's no way a man is going to be comfortable with a woman who is as powerful as you are." Well, I tell you, that is a lie. It's a bold-faced lie, because I got the rings to prove it. I got the happy marriage to prove it. So it's a lie, but I bought into all of that, right? And when you don't charge what you should charge, when you don't rise up, when you don't stand in your power, when you are afraid to make more money and change the world, when you are afraid to shake the planet because you think that other people's insecurities will be triggered by your decision to play at the level that God created you to play at, or when you downplay your incredible factor, when you downplay your confidence in who you are and how you show up because you're afraid that your family or your friends will get jealous, or when you don't ask your team, the people you are paying to support you, to do whatever it is that they need to do, when you don't do it because you're afraid that they're going to see you as a bitch, right? Or that they're going to quit. Any of those things, whenever you allow yourself to fall into the fallacy, the myth, the misbelief that toning it down is the way to make sure that you get everything you want, when you allow yourself to be less than who you are and who God created you to be so that others won't feel threatened or intimidated by you, that is what's holding you back. And that is the reason why you don't have a business that serves you in every possible way. I know you thought that I was going to tell you that you needed to raise your rates. I know you thought I was going to tell you that you needed a different marketing sequence, right? You thought that I was going to tell you that you could take some magic pill and instantly you would be a phenomenon in the marketplace. No, you need a reckoning. You need to realize that the longer you shrink back and the longer you hold fast to these fallacies that being who God created you to be will keep you safe, you got to let all of that go. All of it. Every single bit of it. Because here's what I know. Not only is that the reason why you're held back, but it's why you're working really hard and you still don't have the money. You don't have the results to prove it. Right? Like, what's the point of doing all that hard work if you're not going to have the results? Now, here's what I want you to catch is the moment that you stop being afraid of your power is the moment that your income will explode. I know somebody needed to hear this today. That's exactly what not only has happened for me, but it happened for one of my clients who made nearly $80,000 in less than 60 days. $80,000 in less than 60 days by stepping fully into her power, owning her brilliance, owning her incredible factor, and not apologizing for who she is and what she brings to the planet. Like, she decided that she was going to shake the planet no matter what. And it didn't start out that way. Like, initially, she felt really guilty about making so much more money without having to work really hard for it. I mean, how many of us would be honest and say that that's probably a real feeling that we would have to battle with? I know I have, right? But then she kind of snapped out of it. She came to her senses and she realized that by making more money, she could get her life back. Like, she could improve her life. She could have what she wanted in her life. She could build a big old house if she wanted. She could buy a new car. She could get a vacation home. She could go and spend 3 months in a warm climate when it's cold at her home in the DC area. Like, she could do whatever she wanted to do because she was standing fully in her power and she was experiencing the financial and spiritual benefits and rewards that come along with that. Now, we're obviously talking about a lot more than money, right? But this is really not just about the money. It's about being true to who you are. It's about seeing yourself the way that God sees you. It's about understanding that when you stand in your power, you allow other people to find their power, right? Like, that's when the real magic happens, right? How would your business be different if you started to stand fully in your power? What other areas of your life would increase dramatically to the point that you wouldn't even be able to recognize them if you started standing in your power? Will you do me a favor? Will you make a note? Will you comment that for me? Like, what would change in your life if you started standing in your power? I want you to give those questions like very real consideration. I'm going to be coming back to you soon with another video. And in that video, I'm going to share with you why your marketing is still bringing you tons of unqualified leads. And I'm going to share with you how you can begin to create an environment to attract clients who will happily invest in themselves through your programs through the tune of $10,000 or $30,000 or $50,000, right? And how doing so will reinforce that you're standing in your power, and it will literally change your life and your world. It will allow you to vibrate at such a higher level that you'll begin to manifest all that you've been craving in your life every single day. This has been Darnyelle Jervey Harmon hanging out with you in this second impromptu video in this, let's call this the Shake the Planet video training series. Let's call it that. I can't wait to come back to you with tomorrow's video. I'll see you again real soon. Take care.